What's up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Byron Vasquez Jr. I'm a Los Angeles-based actor, and here you will find personal stories of my journey as an actor, as well as tips and tricks and other acting-related content. In this video, I will be looking back on some of my past work and giving you a breakdown on how I approach a character and what specific tools I use to create each character. So, without further ado, let's roll the camera and action! Number 1, the Subhuman. This one was a fun character to play because it was the first role that I ever put on camera. It was one scene, and the director gave me free rein on how to approach it. I wanted to give my character a Middle Eastern accent. I purchased these accent training CDs and I listened to them as much as I could, and I really wanted to get an idea on how the Middle Eastern accent sounded. At the time, I wasn't sporting a beard, so I wanted to grow my facial hair out as thick as I could get it. I remember when I was reading the script, it said how angry and reactive he was. So I wanted to find a reason as to why my character was so angry, or more specifically, why he was so angry at that moment. I remember thinking, this character emigrated from another country. He spends all his day doing an honest day's work in his deli. Meanwhile, there are these mobsters that show up, squander their opportunities by doing criminal activity that he was against. So the thing that really tipped him over the edge was the fact that they were smoking. I had said it that my character was so angry at someone smoking because it defiled their bodies and he was against it. So as soon as he saw them light a cigarette, I just unleashed my anger, and this is the result of all those choices.
Hey! There's a bus, man! You don't smoke in here!
Hey, take it easy, Don.
Oh, you wanna smoke? You don't smoke here! Go outside!
What are you talking about? Cigarette?
No, fuck you! You go outside!
These is cool as smoke.
You sons of bitches, you take that stick, you wanna smoke, you take puff stick outside!
Number 2, and let God do the rest. This one was also early in my acting journey. It was a film that I actually wrote and produced myself. I wanted to play with the physicality of the character, so I decided to study animal movement, which is I choose an animal in which to kind of copy their movement and see how I can infuse it into the character to convey some of the emotions that I want to portray. I studied the snake, and I wanted to see how their movements, how they prey upon their enemy, how they slither, and how they move, and I wanted to infuse that in the character. So take a look at this scene and watch how I infused the snake behaviors to illustrate how the character Brian was feeling in the moment.
You present yourself as honest, loyal, caring, but underneath, that's something to see. What drives you to be so perfect?
Number 3, Nursery Rhyme. This movie was a little bit interesting because I was playing a deaf character, and for 10 years of my life prior to that, I had been studying ASL, deaf culture, deaf perspectives, and I was already a working ASL interpreter. All that education that I already done worked in my favor. I wanted to approach this character as far as the look. What would he look like? And I remember talking to the director and telling him that I wanted to wear a wife beater, essentially because he wasn't abusive to his girlfriend. I remember because he was an alcoholic, he was wearing boxers, so I wanted him to look really grungy, really run down, and I also grew a specific facial hair. At the time, I still wasn't using facial hair often. It was a little bit more stylized to look more specifically to what I was envisioning. Take a look at Javier, which was the character for Nursery Rhyme.
You can see I'm with the neighbor. You've had enough. Just calm down. Just calm down. No, go next door. I'll be there in 5 minutes, got it?
Number 4, My Apocalyptic Thanksgiving. This character was one of the most recent characters that I played. After a couple of years of practicing specific skills like accents and physicalities and the look, I was able to culminate all of that and to create this character named Alfredo. This is where I started to really feel in control of my process. I spent a lot of time watching documentaries on people with mental disabilities. There was one specific individual who was being interviewed, and every time he would be asked a question, question, he would close his eyes and tilt his head back, as though he was reaching for the answer in his mind. And I remember thinking to myself, that's something that I really want to incorporate in the character. I spent a lot of time at a home for people with mental disabilities, and I just observed their behavior, how they talked to one another, how they joked, what they did. One of the things that I realized was that they don't make eye contact. A lot of them carried a fanny pack. They carried a fanny pack and put things that were important to them. In the process of me creating this character, I would do improvisations to get these physicalities, to get these behaviors ingrained in me. I would infuse props and things that I could put in the fanny pack with meaning and memories, so that my character Alfredo would know exactly what was in his fanny pack and why it was important to him. I ended up creating this real flesh and blood character who had a life apart from the beginning and the end of this movie. It was just capturing a moment in his life. Because this character was so different than me, and I wanted to preserve the integrity of this character, the moment I put on my costume when I was on set, I decided I was going to stay in character. So I stayed in character pretty much all day long without breaking, even while I was on lunch, because I did not want any of Byron's personality traits to taint the character. I wanted Alfredo to live on his own, and because of that, it was one of the best experiences I ever had working on a character, because it allowed me to really put all the fundamentals that I had learned throughout the beginning of my acting journey, and it culminated into being able to create this character. So take a look.
Right to wear whatever he wants. Somebody else gave it to him.
Oh, Marcus, they're really loud.
And he is moving to another facility.
What? You can't just do that.
No, Marcus, they're yelling and they're really mad.
Shush!
I have to go.
I can't afford to lose a client.
He needs more attention. And another psych evaluation.
There's nothing wrong with him. He wants to be with his mother.
Bye, Marcus.
So those are a couple of examples on what actors can use to really create a character. You can use the voice, you can use the movements, you can use the physicalities, you can use the look. Give yourself something in each character that's going to set you apart from the character. Once your attention is off of your emotions, or you try to act and you're focusing on what you're doing, it's going to create a lot of opportunity for you to be open and free and for magic to happen, because your attention is on what you're doing versus how you're feeling. And that's really important as an actor. That's it for this video. Please don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more of my personal stories as an actor, as well as tips and tricks and other acting related content. But for now, that's a wrap.